Welcome to part 2 of how to build Wally, the wonderful robot that is made up of parts to C build from the 42099 4x4 Extreme Off-Roader. This second video really just looks at how to build the top half of Wally, the bit that wobbles, his head, his eyes, his little paws, how to make him cute. So as you can see, he turns, he moves, he's lovely, and we're going to build his upper body in this video. We're going to start by building his feelers and his sort of front, his paws. So that's both paws done, and this little bit here is going to be the bit that his paws attach to and the bit that attaches to his front. So the blue pin is in the 4th hole and the black pin in the 6th. Now we're just going to attach those little paws to the front. And once we're done here, we're going to move on to his sort of torso. I've made the paws wobbly because I think that's what an animal should do. So, you know, you give it a little bit of an organic feel. If you want a really mechanical robot that doesn't wobble at all, then you can make it more rigid. And certainly feel free to give him something else, give him fangs, give him something else, but when I built Wally, I made him with little paws. So now we're going to move on to his head. These little mud guards actually become his sort of eyebrows. I put stickers on my pieces, so, you know, depending on how fussy you are, you can try and, you know, put the stickers in an invisible space, but you can't avoid it for his sort of big bits. Okay, we're going to come back to his face a bit later, but now we're going to move on to his body. These are made up of the kind of the ute walls of the 4x4 off-roader. I've tried to be clear here which pins go into what holes, but you know, rewind the video and give it another watch if you need to. And with those square pins, you need to line them up before you put them on. Obviously, this is a reverse video, so can't, you know, show you how to line up the pins. That axle there is a 3-unit axle, obviously. So this is the piece that's used for the differential, or some of the differentials in the 4x4, the 42099, and we're going to repurpose them to make them the centre of his torso. So that first piece we made just clips onto his centrepiece. We're going to do the same thing for the other side end stick. Trying to give you a bit of a look there as to see where all the pins should be. And now we'll do his other side. I reckon there's other people out there who'll be able to design way more interesting bodies for Wally, or entirely new robot upper halves, and I'd love to see them in the comments or in other mocks on Rebrickable, and that'd be great. Oh, my mistake. This is actually the other side of his body. That second piece that we use is going to be his butt. So the last two clear holes will be the ones to use. And then the red pin goes into the square leg of that lift arm. Okay, let's attach the other side to his body. Again, those last two holes there. Okay, so these little 90-degree corners help attach his butt to the rest of his body. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. I think what I'm about to do here is start to put together his kind of shoulders, shall we say. Okay, so that becomes one part of his sort of upper body, and we're just going to squeeze it onto his torso. Not quite sure what you call this. Maybe you call it his neck. Do robots have necks? I'm not sure. Anyway. Well, the good news is you're about a third the way there, so you're making good progress. Okay, no surprises here. It's going to go on the same way as the first one. Just have to squeeze it in a little bit to get over the pins. And now we move on to assembling the connectors that connect his butt to his body. I'm in Australia and this video was recorded in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, and so no doubt lots of LEGO fans, lots of adult fans of LEGO will be doing the same thing at home, trying to keep themselves sane by putting together some fantastic models. So in the video, this piece is really his back, and it doesn't come off as quite as cleanly as it should go on, so you might want to do it in a slightly different order. This is where we put his butt onto his body. You can see where the two pins there, it's pretty obvious. And give them all a squeeze together. So yeah, this is his back. To be honest, you could put that in at a different time, it doesn't really matter. That's just the way that it came out at the time. Again, the stickers, I don't think make him look too bad. It makes it look him a little bit kind of like he's a DIY robot, and I don't think that's a problem. He looks a little bit handmade. But if you haven't put stickers on, I would love to see your Wally without stickers. I reckon he'd look pretty good if it was just all yellow and black. Take some snaps and put some photos in the comments, and it'd be good to see your version of Wally. So now we're back to making the attachment that makes his paws attached to his body. And again, I've made these kind of floppy and so that they can dangle around and wobble away. I've kind of tried to make Wally have a bit of a kind of a organic feel. It might make him look a bit drunk though, so your call if you want to make a more rigid looking robot, but I kind of like his wobbly ways. In making that rack, just make sure all the holes are actually lined up together. But those little floppy down pins, they shouldn't go into anything. So when you line it all up, only the pins that are rigidly aligned should go into the black pins. And hopefully it should go on easier than it was to get off. Oops, he's already falling apart. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, so in the video this is not as seamless as it should be, but his neck up there where things are falling off should not be falling off at this point. That's just things falling apart a bit. Now we're going to make his eyes. I was pretty impressed that I could give him blue eyes. You'll see here that this is the headlights from the truck, from the 4209 truck, 42099 truck, and when we push the blue pins in a minute, he'll get nice blue eyes, which is, I think, pretty cool. It was really nice to have a couple of different colours in five size bricks here. Yeah, I probably didn't need to kind of pause quite so slowly on his eyes. They're pretty obvious, but anyway. So these are the blue pins that you use to stick his eyes on, and they also give him nice blue eyes. So now we're just assembling his neck, really, the bit that attaches his eyes and his mouth to the rest of his body. I would love to come up with a more substantial looking neck and kind of, body. It just looks a little bit kind of like vaporware. So, if you've got better designs, I'm sure you will. Share them, improve on them, improve on this. But for now, this is what I came up with, and that's enough. All right, we're about 2/3 the way there, so you're on the home stretch. And pretty soon you'll be able to make sure you've got some batteries charged up so that you can get a good roll. That black axle there is a five size axle. Yeah, and just make sure the two holes there are facing the same way. And look, that black thing, it was supposed to be his mouth. I don't know, it kind of looks now like his jaw. Who knows? If you can come up with a better face for a robot, let me know. But again, it's not really rigid, so his mouth can move and you can tilt his head and his eyes and give him a bit of an expression. So now we're going to put on his sort of eyebrows, I guess you'd call them. Not really eyebrows. Anyway, the top of his head. And then the other side. So yeah, those two green bits swing around and kind of form a mouth. And I decided to give him some feelers, some antennas as well, which I think make him look a bit cuter. So those blue pins there provide a little home for his feelers. He's also not very strong, like it kind of fell apart in my hands when I was undoing him. I mean, he doesn't fall apart when you operate him, but he's not the strongest robot in the world. So, if you want to make him stronger and less wobbly, go right ahead. And so those orange pins are his antennae. I thought about giving him really big antennae, but it kind of made the rest of his head look really weird and disproportionate. So you can see there that you can sort of move his face around and give him the expression that you want, and I quite like that. So this is a little bit of a squeeze to get this piece on, but you'll figure it out. Okay, so we're getting close now. I don't know what I'm doing here. There's something out of camera. Anyway, he's mostly done, but he still does need a tail, and that's what we're building here. It's pretty easy, super easy. Again, I think his tail looked pretty impressive in another colour. Maybe if you've got colours from another set. I've made this as a C model of the 42099 so that you can definitely make every part of Wally with just that one set. But if you've got other sets, give him a different coloured tail, or maybe if you didn't put stickers on your set, then I'd love to see what he looks like in just pure yellow. Oh, sorry, that's not his tail, that's his chest. His tail comes later, and this is his little chest plate. And again, it's connected by loose pins to give him a bit of a loose feel. With those cross pins, you might want to put them in the body, his chest piece first, because it's hard to line up the blue pins because they've got an axle cross into their home. So you might want to do it the other way around. It's just in a reverse video, that's kind of what you get. So you can move his paws around as well, you know, maybe he's left-handed or right-handed, he can be that, it's all good. And here you kind of have to line up a whole bunch of pins at once. It's not too hard, but gravity is your friend. Let all the pins just flop down into the holes. And that's where you might want to put the blue pins in the other way around first, into the swinging pins rather than into the grey piece. And finally, we use the suspension, what do you call them? I guess kingpins, I don't know. The things that are used on the suspension on the 42099 to connect his body with the main electronics and the main shell of the robot. And that means that his body gets pushed and pulled around in a kind of a random way. And I like that. It kind of, you know, gives him that wobble. But I'd be curious to see whether people have come up with more kind of, you know, geometric or more precise kind of linkages to make his body move in a particular way when his legs move. Because they've got so many degrees of freedom, they kind of, he does wobble all over the place a bit, which is cool. One idea I had that I didn't bother to do was to try and connect some of the steering connectors from his legs to his paws to make his paws go up and down, but I couldn't quite figure it out. If you can, great. If there's a way to make his head turn or something like that, that'd be cool too. There's a few more things you could do to make his body a bit more animated. Just pay attention to where these pins go in, so that it's not too difficult, but if you put them in the wrong spot, then the linkage pins and struts will kind of break off. So now we're going to make a tail. Sorry, doing it in reverse video, you know, whoops. Sorry, the video is a bit fast here, but you'll figure it out. I mean, it's not that many. You can't go very far wrong. It's pretty straightforward. It took quite a while to figure out a nice sort of, you know, universal joint to make sure that his tail was free to move in any direction off the back of his bum. And I think it's pretty good now, but if there's better designs that are a little bit less kind of chunky, that'd be great. I'd love to see them. So this is the sort of the universal joint that allows it to sort of swing freely, or pretty freely. Because I'm using all and only parts from the 42099, this universal joint doesn't quite have as many. Oh, that pin there is a, you know, black connector on one side and axle on the other. It's a bit of it's one of the weirder parts. Yeah, you can see there how that one looks. With a different set, or if you want to sort of make it a bit more of a mock and a bit less of a C build, you could certainly make that universal joint more floppy and with more degree of freedom. And in terms of connecting the tail to his legs with these pins, Look, there's a couple of different ways that I tried. Some of them get more of a swing in his tail, but they have a bit more of a tendency to snap off. Not break anything, but just come off the legs or off the tail. Have a muck around. There's no rules. Put his tail on differently if you like, and that one there just plonks into his butt. All right, we're done. Are you ready to attach his body to his soul? Oh, 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 look at his mouth. God almighty, what did I do there? Anyway, you're almost there. You'll straighten him all up later. So if you want to turn the controlling unit on, the control hub mod on before you attach his body, you can do it once he's done, but it's a bit more of a fiddle, to be honest. It's sort of, you got to put your finger up underneath his torso. And notice there that the red connecting pin is under the frictionless pin on his middle leg there. Again, you can experiment with putting all these attachments in at different points. They give more or less wobble. They also have more or less tendency to sort of break. And the little back legs there, I was never quite satisfied by the way his back legs connect to the tail, but it's not bad, it works. And that is it. He's good to go. Excellent. Well done. Epic build. Here he is again, wobbling around. To control Wally, you won't be able to use the baked-in Control Plus app. It just doesn't work, which is a gigantic pain. But if you download the Boost remote from the App Store, it's in iOS, it's in the Apple App Store, I have it in the Android Store as well, and you can happily control them with that. Basically, each motor makes them go one way or the other. Enjoy.